What's up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Now You Know. Today we are joined by two very special guests. They are the current GMs of Island Hyundai and Island CDJR plus Island Subaru. One of them's got double duty. You know, it's tough to do. This podcast is brought to you by Island Auto Group. Every once in a while, we will dive deep into that. And today we start with our two GMs, Greg Kemp and Jason Ostrowsky. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Nice being here.
Nice to be here. Absolutely.
Okay, good. So let's start with Greg. Greg, you are the GM of Island Subaru and Island Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jason, you are the GM of Island Hyundai.
Hyundai, yes.
Rhymes with Sunday.
Sunday.
It's not Hyundai. It's not Hyundai. It's Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Okay.
Yes,
That's a Korean company, right?
it is.
How are those cars?
I think they're pretty good. They've been good for a long time. I've been with Hyundai for almost 17 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, you were. Let's just backtrack it to how you guys met, because I know you guys basically as a duo. You know,
that was
the
around-
ambiguous duo.
Like
You want me-
Batman and Robin?
Yeah, like Batman and Robin. But so how did that happen? Because you weren't at Hyundai, were you?
Not here, I wasn't at Hyundai, but I have spent some time at Hyundai. But
Okay.
not here.
He spent the time at a lot of manufacturers.
Okay, let's hear it. So how did you guys meet? You're good there. Just leave it alone. You're
All right,
good.
I got it. Okay. Just wanted to.
You want to start? 8 years ago?
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Here, Island Auto Group.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here, Island. But oddly enough, we had a mutual friend. This is a small business. Eric Williams. Guy from
E-dubs.
Philly.
Yep.
Bumbaclot. He's crazy guy. But,
Rasta man.
always talked about this guy, Jay. He talked about Greg, Bears fans. Eric's an Eagles fan. And then, oddly enough, I'm talking to Eric one day, and I'm telling him I'm working for Marcello, and he says, oh, my little brother Jay works there. He's the Bears fan I told you about. I happen to walk out the parking lot. Jay's smoking. We introduce each other, and we immediately, from that point, hit it off. We weren't working together, but he was the finance director. So he would help me with deals from time to time.
Okay.
I had a younger finance guy, so Jay was there to help me out, and we
that-
just immediately connected.
And then when did you call Jay home to daddy? When did you say it's time?
I needed a janitor. Marcello came in one day. I was missing paper towels. He says, I got a good guy for you. No. But, when COVID happened and
Jay said, I don't shine shoes no more.
Yeah, I don't shine shoes no more. That is true.
No. COVID happened and we, merged a lot of stores and, things like that. We consolidated.
Okay.
And Jay came in as my general sales manager.
Is that for Subaru and CDJR?
Yes, for Subaru and CDJR.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't even realize that was for
Yeah,
both.
yeah. No, absolutely.
But you always worked out of CDJR.
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
But
okay.
there's overseeing, because when you have multiple buildings, because not only do I have the showrooms, but I have the service departments.
Right.
So Jay would help out, so I was able to do what I needed to do.
Sure.
And, because of that, he's done an amazing job, and I'm proud to say he's got his own store, so which is awesome.
So
It was a great partnership.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was good.
yeah, no, I used to come and that was a good energy.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
We had Steve over there too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Yelovich.
And then I guess you took Steve, right?
Yeah, I
So
brought Steve.
So what happened? You left CDJR, and how did that happen?
So Steve started in the car business, from me. He started like 2011, I think, and we were at this dealership called Brad Benson, and I was there for.
Oh, is that how you knew Marcello?
So that's where I met Marcello, and Marcello grew me, and Steve came around. I was there at 2001, 2002, so I was there for a long time, and then Marcello came around, I think 2005, 2006, and that's where the relationship started.
So then you leave Brad Benson once Marcello starts it. Were you an original employee for Island Auto Group?
No, I wasn't. So I stayed at Brad Benson because they sold it. And I stayed there for 6 months.
What were you doing there?
I was GM, GSM. I did, I started from a salesman to all the way up.
Wow.
But I was there for literally 14 years, 15 years.
Wow.
One dealership.
So then Marcello, how does that happen?
So Marcello's there for however long, a long time. We formed, a relationship outside of the dealership. He's like my big brother. And he left and he started all this. And I didn't go at first. So for 6 months, I stayed at the looting bin with a new owner.
You did one of these?
Yeah.
I'm staying?
Yeah. So the new owner was, it wasn't Brad Benson. Brad Benson was great. But the new owner was it was a little bit like insanity. And 6 months went by. I called up Marcello. He told me to come. He walked me all around the dealerships. I started 3 days later. I think it was January 6th of 2016.
And that's when you started at Subaru?
No, I was the finance director for the other side of the block. So Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, and Mazda.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you make the switch to Subaru?
So another gentleman that Marcello brought with him is Mike Farrell. So Mike Farrell got sent to, he hired him in a year later, and he was at Chrysler, and he became the GM.
Of this Chrysler store?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So Marcello said, hey, go help him out. He worked with me at Brad Benson for all those years.
Oh, wow.
So we were groomed together, we came up together. So I went there, I was working with Mike. And,
So then how did Mike transition out of there and Greg in?
Mike got
Sent to Route 1.
yeah, Route 1, the other
Jersey.
dealer.
Yeah. They have the store on Route 1, Lawrenceville.
Sure.
Another Chrysler dealer.
Yeah, Marcello needed someone out there. The gentleman that was there, you knew him, I guess I forgot his name. He moved. He was moving out of state, and because that store is so far away, Marcello has a great relationship with Mike Farrell, who actually, by the way, Mike Farrell brought me here.
Oh, so Mike Farrell's the reason you're here?
I came like 5 days after Mike Farrell. I met Mike Farrell. I had got out of the business for a little bit. I was doing some wholesaling, and I met Mike at one of his stores out in South Jersey. He called me and said, I got a buddy of mine that just bought a Subaru store. I know you have Subaru experience. Do you want to go to Staten Island? I said, absolutely not. But then I said, listen, I'll just come up and listen.
Yeah.
I came up, and because I've been with Subaru for so long, I called my Subaru rep, and they said, it's a great store. It's just a little, it's a little crazy, a little different in Staten Island, but there's plenty of opportunity. So I came up and started, a week later in April.
You were the GM for Subaru?
Right away, yeah, GM for Subaru. Yeah.
Okay, so now they moved Mike Farrell to
So-
Jersey, and then is Marcello like, you want to be GM for CDJR too?
Yeah, so I had to, basically put together a proposal to show Marcello I could do it, and we sat down, we talked, and he gave me the job. He gave me an opportunity, and said, hey, listen, I'm going to give you the shot. Don't let me down. If you need any help, I got your back. What do you need to make it work? I told him, and that's it, So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been here for how long?
8 years. This April was 8 years.
You're close to that as well.
9 years.
Right,
It was 9
you're a
years.
little more.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just get into, now you're both at CDJR, you're technically at Subaru, but you're helping with CDJR. When did you get the call that you were moving to Hyundai? Hyundai.
So me and Greg were together, like we said, at Chrysler, and
It's like Abbott and Costello over there.
yeah. So Marcello called me January 2023 and let me know that I'm gonna get the Hyundai store.
Did you want it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially Hyundai. It's
Yeah.
where I grew up.
Right.
So I was very happy and appreciative, and he said the same thing to me. Don't let me down, and anything you need, I got your back, and it's been going good.
How'd you end up taking Steve with you?
Steve goes everywhere with me. No, it's actually Steve Yelovich, Mike Farrell, myself, Richie Vento, the general manager from Chevy. We're all from Brad Benson. So Marcello brought us all.
So you said, I'll go to Hyundai, but I need Steve.
Well, yeah, Steve's actually one of my best friends since I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
Literally. So
I bet you he was getting you out of a lot of trouble.
Oh, God, yeah, you should hear some of those stories.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, my muscle.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because Jay had the mouth, but Steve
Oh,
had the
God,
tongue.
yeah, bro, the stories they tell, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Steve's been with
you
me
went,
for a long
and how
time.
do you like Hyundai?
I love Hyundai.
Yeah.
Like I said, I grew up with Hyundai. The gentleman that was one of my mentors, obviously Marcello is one of my mentors. We started at Hyundai together. A gentleman named Dave Canton. So he taught me the ropes. Little different way than Marcello, but he, right, wrong, and different. With customers, he showed you how to handle it. And then when Marcello came, he showed you the other way to handle it. Yeah. So it was very
So you have
good.
a diverse playbook.
Absolutely, 1,000% from both of them. They're definitely my mentors.
And how about CDJR and Subaru for you? You like both those brands?
Love them, yeah. Subaru has always been my first, my first baby. So
You've been with Subaru a long time, right?
Forever. 20-something years. So I've been with them for a long period of time. So.
And how about Jeep Dodge? Ram?
I was with Jeep for about 4 years. Then when I came here, I wasn't with them, and now I'm with them for another 4 or 5 years. I've been with Jeep on and off for about 8-9 years.
What do you drive right now?
Pacifica.
Do you?
Absolutely.
The hybrid or regular?
Hybrid.
Wow.
He loves it.
Love it.
Do you love it?
Absolutely.
Talks about it.
Love it.
I gotta say, they are convenient.
But listen, I drive an hour and a half to work every day, and I need to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger guy.
Does that have the
I'm
self-drive
6'6".
thing?
No, it doesn't have self-drive. I drive myself, but definitely very comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the grandkids in there.
Put the grandkids in there. I take my dog to the
Throw
park.
a dog.
How many grandkids you got, Greg?
I got 2.
Look at that.
Two.
Yeah.
What car are you driving?
I drive a brand new Santa Fe, new body style.
Really? Those are nice.
Love it.
Do you love it?
I love it.
What color?
Mine right now is silver with the black wheels.
How's it drive?
It's a sharp one.
Very good drive.
Yeah?
I live in Jersey, so,
That thing has a tremendous amount of technology.
yes. Very good. Very nice. They did
Almost
a very
looks like
nice
a little
job.
Range Rover.
That's what it looks like. That's what everyone says when
Yeah.
they come in.
Nice.
Range Rover or Discovery? One of the
Discovery.
Discovery.
Right,
yeah,
Discovery.
I see Discovery. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
what everyone says.
Let's talk about the current state of the automotive industry for a minute, okay? So, COVID happened, okay, and the sentiment there was, what cars do you have in stock? And then the salesperson would say, we have this, and then the person would say, I want it, and the salesperson would say, okay, 5,000 over, and the person would say, okay, great deal, thanks, I'm in, right? Yeah. So COVID, let's just call it what it was. It was not a hard time to sell cars, right?
No, it was not.
talent.
It took no talent. There was no actual salesmanship in it. So do you guys have COVID employees, meaning they came during COVID?
Like COVID kids, you call them?
Yeah, COVID
We definitely
kids.
have. We
And
definitely
they
have
felt
COVID
like,
kids.
wow, I am the best salesperson of all time. I
Absolutely.
made X dollars, and then all of a sudden now COVID's done,
Yeah.
right? And it's back to actually selling, and they're like,
That's
whoa,
the
I'm in a
problem
real
we're
slump.
having. That's the problem we're having. Absolutely.
Sticker shock.
You nipped it right in the butt.
So how do you deal with that?
It's like one deal, one day at a time. You got to retrain them.
Back to basics.
Yeah, that's it. When you're doing it as long as us, there's always changes. There's waves. There's roller coaster rides. So it's COVID. It's Hurricane Sandy. It's the president. It's always going to be something. So that's what our job is to do, is to be mentors and doctors, lawyers, teachers. We're like therapists,
Sure.
or babysitters. Some people will say, but
Yeah.
we have to roll with the tide. So that's
So
our job.
do you? I mean, some of these kids, we'll call them, or even adults,
Yeah.
just were never really trained, right?
Because it wasn't that they weren't ever trained. They're trained, but it was at the point that, it was the pandemic. People will come in. I need this. People weren't even coming into the dealership. We would have to put one desk in the middle of the showroom. Yeah. I would have to come out with paperwork with a mask on, put the paperwork down, highlight it, say, you got to sign all that.
Full-
and then back up 20 feet.
full Walter White suit.
Yeah, that went on for a long time.
Almost over 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
so we had to follow all the.
And back then, people. I
guidelines.
mean, were people even quite honestly? And I just don't know this. I didn't buy a car during it. Were people questioning prices of things?
It wasn't that the prices were bad. Like we were still giving deals out. It was just easier.
Right.
People understand supply and demand, so and we, a testament to Marcello, we didn't overprice
Sure.
like a lot of dealers.
Yeah, you weren't price
because,
gouging.
we didn't do the price gouging because Marcello's theory was if you overcharge, you're never going to get these people out. And when he purchased these stores, he wanted to be a part of the community. So if you overprice, if somebody was 10,000 over, we were maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
Because at some point they have to come back to you.
Of course.
And there's nothing worse than saying, hey, but I know you bought the car for me, but unfortunately you owe too much. I can't get you out. Everybody charge what they charge, but we really tried to regulate what we did.
Well, community is a very big part of Staten Island. So I'm not from Staten Island, right? The first time I was ever in Staten Island was when I got Island Auto Group as a client. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I came here, it's quite in all seriousness, I was always kind of like I don't know about Staten. I don't even know what this place is, And then I came here, and it's really honestly like a pretty close knit community.
Family oriented.
Very family
More of a town
oriented.
than a city.
It's really more of a town than a city.
Yep, absolutely.
I think Marcello's take on that, of not wanting to crush people
Yeah.
during and listen, Island Auto Group, and I was part of this. We're doing some initiatives that not a lot of other places were doing. I don't know if you remember. That we gave cars quite literally to first responders.
Yep.
So there were, it was pretty nice. So getting back to the salespeople thing, so you have these kids coming, they're selling cars during COVID, they're crushing it, whatever. So what is going on now? Are there still inventory issues?
There's with Hyundai, there definitely is on my end, but it seems like it's getting a lot better. So like this month, for example, we're supposed to get a lot of cars in. So we'll see.
Which cars are you getting in?
We're actually getting a lot of Tucson's in.
How are those
Konas.
deals?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very popular car for Hyundai.
And how about you? What are you guys pushing out right now?
Believe it or not, the Hornet's very popular, and the Grand Cherokee's always, a big hit.
That's just a staple car in America.
Just like the Crosstrack and Forester for Subaru.
I remember when I was 9, I had a basketball practice. My dad came home. He's like honking in the driveway, and he had the first Grand Cherokee Limited that came out, that 1994, and it was so cool. I remember me and my friend went in the trunk. There weren't 3 rows back then. Okay, me and my friend went in the trunk. He drove, a couple other kids and one of the dads, and everyone was like, remember the equalizers where like you'd actually move them up and down for the radio?
Bass and tremble and all
We had that, and it was the coolest car.
My sister had one.
Really?
Yeah, she
that
had-
tan leather interior. He had the forest green one, whatever you was call
Yeah.
it. Cool car. So Grand Cherokees, that's just part of
That's forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're still, they're even better now.
They are.
Nice truck.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry to retouch now back on the sales thing. So from your end, are you retraining these kids on how to sell?
You have
Like,
to.
You
You
know,
have to.
someone like a Mike who's super green, right? He
Yeah,
comes in.
I have a young kid at my, that's one of my salespeople. He's very good.
right.
But he's also got that young mentality. So,
Right.
We got to try to train him so he's doing the right thing because he thinks, none about the generation, but
No, totally.
they know it all.
Yeah,
They know
it's a
everything.
tough generation.
Yeah.
So
it is a tough
it's
generation.
just like when we were young, our parents said that we're the same way.
Yeah,
so I think
back
it
in your
happened.
day, you used to walk 7 miles to school uphill, no
absolutely.
shoes, in the snow.
outside all day.
Right. These kids are getting Ubers to school.
Ubers, not walking, not doing anything. So
Are you retraining guys? Like, are salespeople right now becoming demotivated because they're like, what the heck? Like, I can't sell a car.
Well, the ones that got demotivated, they either walked away from the business, they went and tried somewhere else and realized that, it's not what I thought. They tried to come back. We said, hey, unfortunately, we don't have space, but we just bring in new guys. But what I do is I always bring in, and I think Jay's doing the same thing, I bring in guys without experience, because what I find is if you can train someone, it's better than bringing someone from somebody else's
Right, because you have to
mess.
break their old habits.
Yeah, you got to break their habits. And if they're not working somewhere else, that's because there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
So if you bring in someone, and when I first, Jay and I talked about it this morning, he says, I always would take the guys that, either had no experience or someone that was, maybe thought of as not talented, and I try to work with them. And I think now we do it because we're looking to be here for the long haul. So if you can we do a hiring class. We hire 10 guys with the intentions of maybe 2 will stay. And the 2 that stay, usually they work out very well.
Who, you don't have to say that person's name, but how long is your longest tenured salesperson?
One of my GSM at my Subaru store, John Espinoza, was a salesperson for 3 months at the Ford store in Staten Island. He started the same day as me, and now he's my GSM for me for Subaru.
yeah, you always hire within.
You're saying promote with him?
I'm a big believer of that because a salesman that starts from salesman, he's seeing everything every day. So if he's there for 2, 3, 4 years or maybe even less, he knows the full process. Why wouldn't I make him a manager and give him a shot?
Because he already has a leg up.
Correct.
In the auto industry, is there a lot of movement between different dealership groups based on just, a guy just can't, let's just say you're the GM of Hyundai. Nobody's getting that role. So are there times when the GSM or finance manager or whatever, like, I want to do that, and they just move on?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That happened to me.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my first management job. It wasn't my first place I worked. They wouldn't do it because, and it's still this theory. When I started almost 30 years ago, they would never take their top guy and make him a manager because, well, I'm going to lose 25 to 30 cars. So you had to go to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
By taking your top salesperson, you're actually hurting the dealership more.
That's what people think. I don't necessarily think you hurt if you bring the right guy, because my theory is if that guy's the top guy, he should be training everyone to do what he did to be successful. So you just got to promote the right guy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now moving forward, so now we're in we're past the COVID era.
Yeah.
So what are challenges that are happening right now in both two of your dealerships and Hyundai?
Well, Hyundai, the inventory is definitely something. But like I said, it's getting better. So we just have to see what happens.
So like right now, I mean, can people go to any other Hyundai dealership in Staten Island?
What do you mean?
Is there another Hyundai dealership on Staten Island?
No.
So you're the only game in town.
I'm the only game in town.
So are you often still, even from Staten Islanders, shopped?
Staten Island, Jersey, Brooklyn.
Okay.
They come.
So they'll say like, oh, I went to Brooklyn Hyundai, whatever it's called, that one.
Yeah. I went to Brooklyn. They gave me this crazy number.
And what can you do that's better than those dealers? Is it always price? Are people predominantly price-based?
I think a lot is price, but I also think customer service is the most important. Just like anything, if you buy something and the person treats you very well, you're going to want to buy from them. And maybe it might be more. You're paying $10 more, but the salesman did everything he has to do instead of just doing normal salesman stuff that it usually isn't good.
Is that the same for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are people... Now, obviously, everything is a ton of money, right? When Marcello was on, we talked about I had a cup of soup. It was $10 for a small cup of soup.
Yeah.
He had I don't remember what it was, something, and it was a tremendous amount of money. Are people coming in super like, I have no money, like I need a great deal? Like, how's that happening?
I don't think that's the big issue anymore because I think people are realizing the days of a $250 or $300 payment
Doesn't exist.
doesn't exist.
This doesn't.
But the problem is you went from $250 payment with little money out of pocket to a $500 payment with $8,000 worth of equity.
Yeah.
Now the equity's gone, and those people who bought those cars are coming in saying, "Wait a minute, I just went from $250 to $500."
I mean, can you imagine a
Now
person
they know.
who
Yeah.
came in 2 or 3 years ago and they got tremendous equity for their car, plus they got a decent... I mean, they're probably like, oh, my old car was $250 a month. Now you're telling me it's $450?
But customers are savvy. They know.
Yeah.
They'll take a shot,
Yeah.
and they should take a shot, but they know. So once you start talking to somebody and building a rapport with somebody, it's good.
And explain how it works from like the manufacturers and when they decide to incentivize cars, etc. So CDJR, let's just use that example first. Do they say, hey, Greg, this month we're going to give you X dollars that you can discount, you could pass through to the customers as a discount? Is that how that works? Let's just talk about the business of car dealerships.
I guess every manufacturer is different. Some manufacturers like Subaru, they very rarely come up with any rebates, no incentives. They might do low rate financing, but they don't believe in it. And they started that, 15 years ago. For them, they thought it would cheapen the brand. They don't mass produce.
It's like being on Groupon.
Yeah, that's it. They don't do it. They just said, hey, listen, we have a top-notch product.
Yeah.
And you build value, which there is value there. Stellantis, Chrysler, they have so many cars that they need to move, so they put up incentives.
Why do they need to move them? How does that work? Tell me how that works. When you say need to move them, are the cars that you guys get on consignment?
No, so they're almost like
So how does that work?
Floor plan. So listen, Marcello and his partners, they don't own everything, so they have a loan. So that loan for every day that a car's here, it's called floor plan.
So it gets interest accrued?
Yes, so there's interest accrued. The manufacturer gives you a couple dollars to help you get rid of that car in your 30, 60, or 90 days. After that, you start paying interest on these cars.
You got to sell it.
Yeah,
before that
money runs out. So that's
so. What's the advantage of taking in more cars?
The theory is you take in more cars, you sell more cars.
Okay.
But when that train runs out, that's where the cars start to back up, and that's where the floor plan interest starts to. Now, instead of we having the money from the manufacturer, now it comes from the owners.
So now the owners are out of pocket.
Yes.
And is it the same exact way with Hyundai?
Same exact way, but it's been getting a lot better.
So do you right now want as much inventory as you can get?
Yes. I have a lot of inventory coming in this month right now.
You too?
I don't have as much, but I have a lot more on the ground for CDJR. For Subaru, I'll take as much as I can get. I'll take every Crosstrek, every Forester, but Subarus right now are hot.
Okay. And in terms of used cars, how does that part work?
Used cars as far as what? Buying used cars?
Yeah,
Keeping used cars?
like you buy from a wholesaler, or how does it, or leases
I
come
mean,
off
you
and then
know-
you put them up as used cars? How does that work?
In most cases, what a lot of guys don't realize, but we do here, your best used car is one that's being serviced by you.
Yes.
So we buy most of our lease returns. We buy the cars out of the service drive. We'll pay more for a used car that's been through our shop.
Oh,
We know about it.
Yeah, we
right,
know
because
about
you
it.
know you did the right thing.
Right, absolutely.
You maintained it.
Yes.
You can certify it, etc.
You can pull all the reports. You can see it, touch it, feel it.
Sure.
You go to the auction or you buy it from somebody else you don't know. You don't really know a lot about that car.
Is there a lot of like incestuality, or however you would say it, where somebody might want to use car that's on Jay's lot, and then but they're a Subaru or Chrysler customer, and they're like, oh, I saw one at Island Hyundai.
We cross sell with everything. So
Yeah.
Marcello and his partners want
But
us to
typically,
do that.
we'll just send it down
Yeah.
to his guys. If someone comes to me and says, if a friend of mine says, I want a used Hyundai, I'm just going to call Jay and give it to his guys. His guys are the experts.
Do you have used Hyundais in your parking lot?
I do, but if it's something where they don't see it on my lot, but they'll say, I see it at Hyundai's lot or Toyota's lot, I'll just send them right down there. So this way it's handled the right way.
Do you have used?
I do. I have a Renegade right now. That's on my used car lot.
Wow, funny. And how does that happen? Just they turn in for lease for equity?
Yep. Someone traded it in, or same thing, lease return, and we put it on the lot. So
Gotcha. Okay, so we got a little bit of car business out of the way now.
yes.
Now let's get into some more fun stuff.
You're not going to make me cry, Jerry. You seen that?
So the it's like the Jerry Maguire scene.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
cry. So
Cry if this mic doesn't stay up.
what are some of your interests, and we'll go to both of you. What are some of your interests outside of the automotive industry? I mean, what do you enjoy doing? Like, why are you even doing all this auto stuff? Do you have a goal?
I do what I do just because I love it, number one, but I also have a family.
Yeah.
And the goal is to not have to work for a million years.
Right.
I watched my grandfather work, 3 jobs and killed himself. He had 9 kids, and my family was large. So the goal is to give my family a better life than what I had. My mom was a single mother. I've been working since I'm 11. So the goal is to give my family better than what I had.
Sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Jay?
Same. I have a family. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old boy, and my wife, and I do it for them.
Yeah.
And then like Greg said, I love what I do. I've been doing this. I'm 45 years old. I've been doing this since I'm 21 years old. So I love the car business. I like the hustle. I like, sticking and moving. It's great.
If you weren't in the car business, what business would you be in?
What business would I be in? I would probably be in the food business.
Food business.
I would
meaning?
probably own a restaurant. My father was a restaurant owner.
Really?
My father was actually in the car business as a retirement job.
Really?
And it was called Harry O's. It was actually in Newark, New Jersey, right on Green Street. See that right there?
Yeah.
I would have Harry O's do it one more time, me and my brother.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's all. What kind of food was it?
Italian food. Italian food, bar. It was
Good food?
Yeah. If you actually, the Prudential Center in Newark, you look in the parking lot, there's a green law office. That was my dad's building. That was
Wow.
his restaurant. Yeah, so
How'd that place do?
he did well. He had it for a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you be doing?
Probably, listen, food too. I love to bake.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're a big baker?
Yeah, big baker.
He cooks
Bake-
good.
Baking's all about measurement.
Listen, I made the guys Friday. I did a appreciation day and made some wings and burgers and
Wow.
chicken and sausage for the whole dealership.
That's awesome.
I love it.
You a good cook?
Yes.
I can burn a little bit.
I saw some of those pizzas before.
Yeah.
I would have liked
Those
a
are
little,
my
I
sons,
would have liked a
but,
little more char on those.
Listen.
That's what I said, you gotta burn it a little bit
I
more.
would have made it a little crispy myself, but listen, he's learning.
Okay. And your son actually works with you at CDJR, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Are you happy he's in the auto industry?
Like everyone, you try to keep him away from it.
Yeah.
But when he was younger, he hung around the dealership. He had a niche, and he does good. He handles a lot of the online wholesale and all that stuff for us.
Sure.
Putting cars online, so he's been there a long time. He enjoys it.
So what are some of your other hobbies outside of work and cooking?
Everything's family.
Yeah?
Yeah. For me, everything's family. Spending time with my son, my 2 grandkids. I have a 5-year-old grandson, and I have now a 2-month-old grandson.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you. Thank you. So every minute that I'm not here, I spend it with my family.
How far do you live from here?
An hour and a half.
Wow. So you travel about 3 hours round trip every day to come here.
Yeah.
Okay. How
That's
about
a
you,
lot
Jay?
of stories, but we like it.
I'm about an hour, a little over an hour away. I live in Jersey. And same thing, family. You know, I have a big family too, besides my immediate family.
Yeah, I see you guys going away a lot.
Sometimes
Yeah,
we
that's
go.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
sometimes.
nice that they could party like
Yeah, they
that.
do, man.
But I have an older brother. He's 7 years older than me. He has 3 kids. I have an older sister. She's 13 years older
Wow.
than me. She has 3 kids.
Really?
My mother's 80 years old. You know, she's always with me. So family
That's awesome.
is very big. And
So on the weekends, you would both say you're predominantly just spending it with extended family or your immediate family?
I'm with both. You know, I'm with my kids and my wife and my mother's. I take my mother everywhere. I take my mother-in-law everywhere.
How's your mother-in-law?
She's a nice lady.
Yeah, that's great. I hear that. How about you?
Immediate family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big family, but we don't really see each other. Everyone kind of moved away.
Yeah.
You know, so with my immediate family.
Well, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
You guys play sports
All the
when you were
time.
growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you play?
So as you know already, Jeremy, my brother's a college football coach. My father was an all-city linebacker.
Who's he the coach for, Jay?
Yale University. He's the offense coordinator.
I've heard of it.
So
Joe.
I don't think I had a choice growing up. So
So you played football too?
football, wrestling, and baseball.
Chris told me he was a lot better than you at football.
He was pretty good. Okay, he was pretty good. You know, he was definitely all-state, quarterback, and
Wow.
he played in college, but he's been coaching forever. But I
AC
didn't.
Slater.
Yeah,
So he, or Al Bundy rather.
Hmm.
So how much when you were growing up did you look up to what your brother did?
everything.
So anything he did, you wanted to do?
It's my idol, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And how about you, Greg? You have siblings who
Yeah.
you looked up to?
Yeah, big family. Had an uncle who was like a brother to me who passed away last year.
Sorry to hear that.
Sir, thank you. Looked up to him. My family, we all lived together. My mother was a single parent, so we lived with my grandparents when we were younger.
Oh, okay.
So
Where?
in Keyport,
Okay.
so down in the Jersey Shore.
Sure.
So my uncles, the younger ones, my uncles and my aunt, were more like brothers and sisters to me than aunts and uncles. So people would always be like, "How's your brother?" Well, it's not my uncle, and they'd ask him the same thing. "How's your brother?" It's my nephew. So now we started saying we're brothers.
Gotcha.
That's how close we
That's
are.
cool.
Yeah.
So on Staten Island, obviously you guys both spend a lot of time here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me some of the eateries, because we've talked about food before. Give me some of the eateries that you frequent for, say, lunch, etc.
So right now,
Yeah, what do you
know,
want
summertime,
What's your-
I'm making meals.
You're making meals and bringing them.
Yeah, I'm working out a
Oh,
lot.
because you're trying to
training,
stay lean.
stay lean, stay healthy. But wintertime, we go to Buccelli's. We go to
Bocelli's home of the chicken meatball?
yeah, we go to a lot of places.
Luna? Yeah, it's good. It's good there.
Royal Crown is phenomenal.
Royal Crown's the place.
God.
I love Royal Crown. You go there a lot?
I do. We go to Royal Crown. We get the sandwiches there. It's pretty good.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm trimming down.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on the 6-pack. But,
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but sometimes
Stay off those Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles and oatmeal cream pie right now is my.
and
that's a big
sometimes
thing.
because it's deep on the other side, but we'll go to Vento's Trattoria.
Oh, how's that place?
That place is
He
good.
said it's really good.
That's Richie.
I'll be
Vento.
very honest, Richie, amazing.
Yeah,
Really?
it's good there.
Absolutely.
I gotta go.
It's pretty delicious.
Let me
All the
tell you.
food. I'm just not saying it. 'Cause,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's very
Chicken
good.
Scarpinino or something. It's got
Scarpiello?
Oh God, yeah.
Pepper,
Yeah.
sausage, all that.
It's very good.
How about Danino's? One of our previous guests.
Dino's is the best.
Is that your favorite pizza on Staten
I
Island?
actually worked when I was, before I got in the car business, when I was 18, 19. It was a restaurant down the shore called Mangiata 2. And the owner was the original Danino's. I think his mother was.
Wow,
And so I've been eating Danino's forever.
that's awesome. Danino's a fantastic pizza.
Oh, it's delicious.
What pizza you like?
I like Royal Crown. They get that brick oven pizza.
Yeah, they do.
Unbelievable.
So what are the goals you guys have now? We're coming to the end of this. What are the goals that you guys have for 2024, for the rest of 2024 for both your dealerships? We'll start with Jay, because Jay, is the young buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
My goals, after this pandemic thing, to get back to normal. And,
What does that mean? Get back to normal?
Inventory, incentives, rebates, for the customer.
And that's straight from the manufacturer.
That's straight from the manufacturer. So get back to normal, be, one of the biggest Hyundai dealers and, treat our customers, like I said, the best customer service we can give them. So
Okay.
That's
How
what we
about
offer Hyundai.
Same, just to continue to keep growing this thing, see it all the way through. When I got here 8 years ago, he got here 9 years ago, it was not an easy place, man. Very challenging. Very, very challenging. And I think as a unit, I think every GM's been here for well over 6 years.
Wow.
So, which is nice to see. That's not something you see in the car business, and I think that's an testament to Marcello and Mike Bobson and Adam and everyone. Everyone wants to be here. So to see this thing all the way through and continue to keep growing the customer base.
What does, and try to be as non-biased as possible,
Absolutely.
what separates Island Auto Group from competing dealerships? Is there anything?
Me? No, I'm only kidding.
No, I like that. I like that.
No.
Jay's like,
Yeah, no.
I'll say me too, bro.
No, absolutely. But in all honesty, and I'm not saying this just to say it, I've worked, unlike Jay, I've worked in a lot of stores. First 10 years, 12 years, I was only in 2 stores. And after that, every couple of years, I would, go to a different store because you work for owners that when you meet them, they say, listen, God bless you. If you make $1 million, I would, God bless you. I hope you're good. If you can run the dealership from home, God bless you. And then once you start making that money, they pay chop you. They want you to put in more hours. Here, it's what Marcello says, and he actually means it. Quality of life, make as much money as you want, but only thing he asks are 3 things. Don't lie, cheat, or steal. Don't lie, cheat, or steal. You'll have a job for life. He doesn't care how much money you make. Just do it the right way. If you need family time, he's okay with it.
Yeah.
So that's what.
well, that's as an
says it.
employee.
Yeah.
What about as a customer? Why come to Island CDJR as opposed to Westbury
Because
CDJR?
that trickles over to the way you treat your customers. When you're happier, you treat people better.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're happier, you treat people better. And we're big involved with the community.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I think the two go together.
Okay. What about you, Jay? What do you think separates? If you could choose one thing that somebody who comes to Island Hyundai wouldn't experience at Atlantic Hyundai.
Like Greg just said, the Marcello and Mike Bobson and Adam Perlow, don't lie, steal, or cheat. So obviously that moves on to the customer. We're never going to do anything that a customer's going to feel uncomfortable here or something's going to happen. So I think that trickles down to all of us. And it's a great motto that we have that, we're going to take care of the customer no matter what.
And how about servicing? You both have service departments at your dealerships?
Yes.
How does that work? Will you service cars outside of Island cars?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Large part of mine.
Yeah.
Never done.
That's a great thing to do. People that live in Staten Island, maybe if they did have a bad experience somewhere and they come here and you want to help them and give them great customer service. So when they do want to buy a car, they say, hey, you know what? The service department really took care of us.
Yeah.
So let's try to buy a car there.
Yeah.
So that always happens.
Last question. What vehicle from both of your manufacturers are you looking most forward to that are coming out?
Subaru's getting ready to announce a new product line. They're going 4X, like the hybrid electric in 25, 26, which would be pretty cool. I know a lot of manufacturers are looking to go away from that, but I think that's probably the area we're going. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how the new Charger and Challenger.
Yeah, those are going to be electric?
They're electric.
Fully electric?
It's hybrid. And there's a button that you push to, the button to push so you can, rev it up.
Go.
So it's
Fake engine noise?
Yeah, make noise. So you make the noise as loud as you want to make it. So I think that's going to be
When
pretty
do those
interesting.
drop?
Some people have seen a few on the road. You can put a few orders in, but you only get it if you have a sold order.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be pretty cool to see how they respond to that.
How about the Wagoneer S?
Pretty sick car.
What's the deal with that? That's fully electric.
I
That
think
really looks like a Range Rover, by the way.
it does, and I think the price point is better than when they initially announced Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer.
But you can say this much, right, both of you, that the MSRP of a vehicle or the price of a vehicle does not always correlate to how much a lease is for. It's all about the incentives and programs. So you could see an $80,000 car that leases for $600 a month, or you could see a $50,000 car that leases for $900 a month, right?
Yeah. You can put 10 cars at the same MSRP side by side, and every one of them will have a different payment. Some higher,
That's
some lower.
because of the manufacturer.
Yeah, that's the program that it
The
comes out
ALG
with.
guide, it's a residual and a money factor. So there's a lot that go into it.
So people come in sometimes, a new Santa Fe, I'm just giving an example, and this is not the payment, it's $700. Oh, I can get a Mercedes. Okay, get a Mercedes.
Right,
for
right.
$700. The Mercedes is not $700, it's probably $1,000.
Right, but I
people
understand.
say that because
What car are you looking most forward to from the
Hyundai this year came out with a new Sonata body style, new Elantra body style, and then obviously the new Santa Fe.
So this has been that real big breakthrough year for them.
It is.
Yeah,
It
that
is.
Santa Fe is sick. I got to say.
And the Kona. It's a whole new car.
Kona's beautiful too.
So they
what did the Kona replace?
the Kona.
Oh, that
Yeah.
new body,
So
right.
redesign.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice when they do a redesign.
And they
just did that
also
with the Forester,
and they
too.
also did the Ioniq 6.
Yes,
The electric.
I haven't
That's a
seen
cool
any
little
of.
car.
I haven't. It's a cool car, but I haven't seen any of them. I mean, have you sold any?
We have it. We have it.
Why?
There's, we haven't gotten any in yet, so we're waiting to get them in, and
Right.
we'll go from there. But
I've seen two on the road.
I seen two on the road too.
I've seen one.
I seen a
I thought
nice
it was
black
cool.
one, actually, like recently, like a couple months ago.
You know what they look like? They look like, if you guys remember, I mean, I'm a big car guy. They look like the old Infinity J.
Yes.
You remember that?
That's what they look
With
like
that
with that down
strip
thing, with
down.
that little.
Yeah,
little,
I used to love that car.
That little fin on the back.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
They do.
All right, well, it was definitely great to have you both here. Two of the stud GMs for the auto
It was
group.
great to be here.
Who are plowing ahead here during these times.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to your customers or anybody listening?
Just you listen. We're here for you. And Island's always got your back, and we can come to the showroom if you ever need me. I'm always here. We appreciate you guys.
Same thing, absolutely. Iron's got your back. You need anything, just come see us. We'll help the best we can.
Do you guys want to arm wrestle now?
I'll beat him. He's weak. He's old.
I'd have to let.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jeremy.